still think you're doing okay for your age. Let's bust that myth right now. The median American's retirement savings is just $65,000. And that number is about to change how you see your entire financial future. If comparing yourself to others keeps you up at night, wondering if everyone else your age has their act together while you're barely stretching your paycheck, wait until you see how most people actually stack up, decade by decade. Here's the truth no glossy brochure or motivational guru is telling you. Almost nobody in their 20s, 30s, or even early 40s meets those common savings benchmarks. And you've probably been told you need $1 million or more to retire comfortably, but almost no one your age is anywhere close. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain with the most recent eye-opening data, so you can finally know exactly where you stand, why the average isn't as helpful as you think, and what steps will get you back on track. Starting today, ready to see how you compare and what to do about it? Let's dive in. Before we start unpacking each decade, let me introduce myself. I'm John, and here on Money Masters, I break down money, personal finance, and wealth building in a way that actually makes sense. No confusing jargon, just real talk with real numbers. So if you've ever wondered if you're behind, or maybe even ahead, stick with me and hit that like button if you find any insight that makes you think twice about your finances. Now, quick question. When you imagine the average person your age, do you picture a financial superstar carefully investing and saving? Or is it more like someone faking confidence while secretly sweating the bills and hoping it'll all work out? Honestly, most of us are flying blind. We guess what normal looks like based on social media flexes. Friends at brunch, people posting about new homes or vacations. But behind closed doors, the truth is very different. So here's why this is so important. Knowing where you stand isn't about shame or showing off. It's about empowering yourself to make smarter moves with your money. Think about health benchmarks. If you were trying to lose weight, wouldn't you want to know what's average for your height or age? Why should money be any different now? Here's the big secret that the financial industry rarely admits. Those neat savings benchmarks you see online are built with so many optimistic assumptions that almost nobody checks every single box. Fidelity Investments, one of the biggest names in retirement planning, recommends you should have 1 times your annual salary saved by 30, 3 times by 40, 6 times by 50, 8 times by 60, and a whopping 10 times by 67. That advice is everywhere. But what the fine print doesn't say is that these numbers assume you start saving at 25. With a reliable career, 0 job gaps, no surprise medical bills, no family emergencies, and never helping anyone else out financially. Plus, it assumes you're cool working until 67, even if that thought makes you cringe. Here's the punchline. Almost nobody meets every one of those criteria at every stage. But what does the real world actually look like, decade by decade? And how do your numbers compare to both the recommended goals and the actual amount most people have? Stick around, because some of the stats for your 30s and 40s in particular might shock you. Stage 1. Your 20s, laying the foundation. Welcome to your 20s. You're probably just starting out, maybe saddled with student loans, maybe earning an entry-level salary, and definitely surrounded by social pressure to live your best life. Still, the experts say this is when you should be saving like your future depends on it. Because, honestly, it does. Here's why. Compound interest. Every dollar you save early has decades to grow. If you start young, your money snowballs. Think of it as planting a financial tree. The earlier, the more time it has to grow branches. Let's take the real numbers, According to the United States Census, the average household income for someone aged 25 to 34 is about $85,000 per year, but that's household, not individual. It could be you and a partner combined, after taxes. The famous 50-30-20 rule says you should put 20% of your income to savings. For that average income, 20% is $17,000 per year, or roughly $1,400 every month. Here's the retention twist. Pause for a second. If you're in your 20s, comment below. What's your biggest money goal? Or what do you wish you'd started sooner, back to reality? If you're thinking, how am I supposed to save $1,400 a month when rent and student loans eat everything? You're not alone. The average 20-something with a retirement account has less than $15,000 saved, nowhere near the one-time salary by 30 that benchmarks recommend. But here's the good news. Saving something, anything, puts you ahead of most of your peers because so many people delay or skip this decade entirely. Let's illustrate with the Sarah scenario. Sarah starts at 25, saving $500 each month. Assuming a conservative 7% annual return, that's in line with historical market averages according to Vanguard. She'll have over $1.3 million by age 65. If she waits a decade and starts at 35, saving double, $1,000 per month, she ends up at about $850,000 by 65. Same contribution dollars, but starting late cost her nearly $500,000. That's compound interest at work. Micro CTA. Pause and run the numbers for yourself. How much are you saving right now? And what would it grow to at 7% over 40 years? Plug your scenario in a free online compound interest calculator and see. Drop your result in the comments. The big truth. Most of your 20s isn't about a magic dollar amount. It's about building habits, living below your means, automating savings, and dipping your toe into investing. Master that. And you'll be ahead of most people, even if your balance isn't mind-blowing yet. Curiosity loop. But what about your 30s? Are you finally caught up by then? Or does the gap get wider? Stage 2. Your 30s. The juggling decade. Here's where the rubber really meets the road. On paper, your 30s look like the moment everything comes together. Maybe you're buying a house, possibly starting a family. Maybe chasing after bigger career milestones. Except it can feel like you never have enough money. The benchmarks? By age 40, Fidelity says you should have 3 times your annual salary saved. For the average income for households led by those aged 35 to 44, about $109,000 per United States Census, 2023. That's a $327,000 retirement goal by 40. In reality, the average 30-something with a retirement account has about $200,000 saved. That average includes people who started early, people with high salaries, and people who inherited money. Many more people are just building emergency funds, paying off student loans, or still struggling to keep their savings consistent. Pattern break. Let's do a real-world case. Meet Jennifer, age 34, a teacher earning $65,000 a year. The benchmark says she should have $195,000 saved by 40, but she has $87,000 in her retirement accounts. She owns a modest home, put down $20,000 in her mid-20s, and has a $1,500 monthly mortgage. She contributes 8% to retirement and keeps an $8,000 emergency fund. Is Jennifer failing? Short answer, no. She's ahead of many in her peer group. Owning a home, consistent savings, and no overwhelming debt is a huge win. The benchmark is a guide, not a pass or fail exam. Micro CTA, if you're in your 30s, what's your biggest financial win? Or, what do you wish you'd done differently? Drop it in the comments. And here's a curiosity loop. The biggest surprise about 40-something savings is coming up, and it might blow your expectations out of the water. Progress marker? Let's recap. In your 30s, you're juggling childcare, mortgages, career, maybe elder care too, and few hit the 3-time salary mark. Consistency, not perfection, is what sets you apart. Contributing something to retirement, building up an emergency fund, paying down debt. Every small step counts. Stage 3, your 40s. The reality check. The 40s are supposed to be peak earning years, with your finances on cruise control. Fidelity's benchmark for 50 is 6 times your annual salary. For the average 40s household income of $116,000, that's $696,000 in the ideal retirement savings account. So where's reality? The average American in their 40s with retirement savings has around $400,000, a solid amount, but it's still under the 6 times guideline. And that average is propped up by a small number of high savers. Many more are nowhere near that mark. Curiosity teaser. But that's not the only financial stress. Wait until you see how supporting kids through college or helping parents can impact your wallet. Here's the money moment. For a lot of people, the 40s are when things get very real. Kids are headed toward college, with tuition costs exploding. Parents may need support, and retirement is about 20 years away, which can suddenly feel very close. People panic, run the numbers, and have what I call the holy crap moment. The real move for your 40s: grow your income without letting your lifestyle inflate right along with it. Promotions, side hustles, job changes, these are key, but just as important is saying no to things that bloat your spending. Pattern break. Let's do a visual calculation. If you're earning $100,000 and have $300,000 saved at 45, a 7% annual return, and $1,500 a month in new contributions, could grow that to $873,000 in 15 years by age 60. But if you stop contributing at 45, that $300,000 could grow to just $828,000. The power is in staying the course. Contributions matter more than ever. Micro CTA. If you've hit your 40s, are you panicking or do you feel on track? Comment with your age group and how close you are to your personal goal. Progress marker. We're over halfway through. The 40s often spark the financial turnaround. If you're behind, it's not too late. If you're ahead, protect that advantage by keeping lifestyle in check. Curiosity loop. Wait for the 50s. This is where the catch-up magic and some harsh realities can actually work in your favor. Stage 4. Your 50s. The catch-up phase. In your 50s, you're supposed to have 8 times your salary saved by 60. Retirement, suddenly, is no longer a vague number. It's a very real thing on the calendar. On average, people in their 50s have over $600,000 saved for retirement, finally catching up, or even surpassing, the benchmark for the first time. This makes sense, since your 50s are peak earning years, and retirement plan rules often let you put in extra catch-up contributions over age 50. But with higher income comes bigger expenses, too. Healthcare costs, aging parents, college for kids, and maybe the reality check of, will I have enough to really stop working? Health challenges become real, and long-term care costs can top $100,000 per year. The most successful savers in this decade have retirement clarity, a real understanding of what their future lifestyle will cost and what it will take to get there. That might mean working longer, reducing expenses, or ramping up savings. Micro CTA. In your 50s, what's the one money move that made the biggest difference for you? Or what's your main concern for retirement? Share below and help out someone a decade behind. Progress marker. The finish line is closer than you think, but your actions now still have a massive impact. The right plan now can close nearly any gap. Curiosity loop. But the next stage might be the trickiest yet, your 60s, where it either comes together or you have to make major changes. Stage 5. Your 60s. Crunch time. By 67. The Retirement Industry Institute says you should have 10 times your salary put away. But the real stats. Americans in their 60s have an average of around $573,000 saved for retirement. For many, that will support a comfortable, though not extravagant, retirement, especially with Social Security in play. For others, it means a more modest lifestyle, working longer, or making creative changes. Real talk. Deciding when to claim Social Security can change your total benefits by hundreds of dollars a month for life. There is no one right answer at this stage. It depends on health, family, and your vision for these years. Some will work because they love it, some because they have to, and some will adjust their expectations to fit their savings. Here's a quick data check. The median retirement savings, meaning the middle, not the average, across all age groups for people with any savings at all, is just $65,000, according to the Federal Reserve 2023. And remember, 1 in 4 Americans has nothing saved for retirement at all. Micro CTA. If you're at or near retirement, what's the best choice you made? Or wish you had made? Looking back, leave your insights below. Your story could light the way for someone else. Progress marker. The end of the line for benchmarks, but not for your financial journey. There's always a next step. Pattern break. Myth-busting moment. You don't need $1 million to retire. Right. You need clarity on what you want, an honest look at your numbers, and a plan based on your own needs. Most benchmarks are guidelines, not requirements. The biggest mistake, thinking starting late means it's too late. Fact or myth? If I'm not hitting every benchmark, I'm doomed. False. Starting now, at any age, is the real key to catching up. Micro CTA. Share the one savings tip that changed the game for you. Let's turn the comments into the best financial wisdom collection out there. Strong mid-body CTA. If you're re-examining your plan or even crushing these benchmarks, hit like so Money Masters can reach more people who need this perspective. Maybe even share this with a friend who's stressing about their retirement numbers. Let's summarize and tie this together with an action plan. How do you take today's information and run with it? Action step 1. Get clarity. Find out where you stand. Use a free net worth or savings benchmark calculator, like the one I'm offering below, to quickly see your age, income, and how your savings measure up. Knowledge is power. Action step 2. Pick one thing to change. Are you behind the next benchmark? Maybe automate increased savings. See if you can bump contributions or cut a recurring expense. It's the action, not perfection, that matters most now. Action step 3. Review annually. Benchmarks are a moving target. Life happens. Check in each year, update your plan, and don't beat yourself up over temporary setbacks. Reminder, everyone's journey is different. Don't compare yourself to averages. Compare yourself to your own potential and progress. Final curiosity drive. Want to know exactly what you can change today that will have the biggest impact by your next birthday? Here's my invitation. Download my free net worth and savings benchmark calculator. Just check the video description or pinned comment. It'll show you instantly where you stand, what one change could get you closer to your next target, and help you build that plan for real progress, whatever your age. And of course, if you found something helpful or surprising, let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more practical, honest money education with Money Masters, your future self. And maybe your friends will thank you. Quick compliance note. All data and benchmarks are for educational illustration only. Individual results vary, the market can go up or down, and none of this is personal investment advice. Talk to a licensed financial advisor before making big money moves. Let's quickly recap. We walked through each decade to reveal how most Americans actually stack up with their savings, using real stats, like the $65,000 median and the 10 times income benchmark by retirement age. We matched up expert targets with real-life results, highlighted the power of starting small and early, and busted the myth that falling behind a benchmark means you can't catch up. Here's your 3-step action plan. First, get clarity on your numbers using a savings or net worth calculator. Find out where you really stand. Second, pick one change. Automate even a small increase in savings. Cut one expense. Or set a meeting with a financial coach. Third, schedule a yearly review so you're always adjusting your plan as life changes. Most people see progress in a matter of months. Not overnight, but within 3 to 6 months you'll notice easier savings and more confidence. And big changes show up in a few years. Your future depends on the decisions you start making this week, not the ones you made years ago. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Money Masters now. Next time I'll be unpacking the top 3 mistakes even smart investors make in their 40s and 50s. Drop a comment with your biggest surprise or your best tip for getting ahead. Let's build a community that helps everyone lift each other. And don't forget to snag the free net worth and savings benchmark calculator in the description. It's my way of helping you turn data into action for free. Just remember, all these benchmarks are guidelines, not orders. None of this is personal financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, and past performance doesn't guarantee future results. For decisions about savings, retirement, or investment, consult a licensed professional